I think Bitcoin will eventually reach $200,000, but I also think Bitcoin could still fall to $40,000 before the next major bull market begins. So what do? Do we buy now? Do we wait? This and more I want to discuss with you today, because I think many investors are asking the wrong question. The question is not where is the exact bottom. The question is, how do I build a position when I don't know where the bottom is? I absolutely want to own Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin will trade much higher in the future. I think the next cycle can eventually push towards 200,000. But at the same time, there is still a realistic chance that we see lower prices before the next major bull market begins. And later in this video, I will show you exactly how I plan to scale into Bitcoin. Because even though everyone is bearish right now, it doesn't mean automatically they are wrong. Many investors believe that whenever the crowd becomes bearish, you should immediately do the opposite. Sometimes that's true, but sometimes the crowd is bearish for a good reason. If Bitcoin continues to follow its historical behavior, then we will see a deeper correction towards 40,000. And now this is where the things get difficult, because the real question is not, would you buy at 60,000? The real question is, are we willing to buy Bitcoin at 60,000 if there is still a realistic chance it falls another 30%? And this is exactly why I'm not planning to go all in at one specific level. Instead, we need to prepare for multiple scenarios. But before I show you my buy plan, we need to ask, what could Bitcoin bring down to these levels? Let's have a look at this chart. This is the Nasdaq divided by the M2 money supply. So it's the real growth of the Nasdaq, and we can clearly see that the current AI bubble is so much bigger than the dot-com bubble in 2000. While no one knows when it will go down, it will eventually has to burst, because price always goes back to the fair value. Now imagine the bubble actually bursts, and we do see something like this. What do you think will happen to Bitcoin or any other risk asset? If this crashes down, even $60,000 for Bitcoin seems expensive if you ask me. Imagine how stupid we would feel because we bought Bitcoin now at the peak of the biggest stock market bubble in history. However, no one really knows when this bubble will burst. Right now, the stock market is not even our only problem. Risk-free returns in the US government bonds. So investors can easily earn 3, 4, 5% safely. Many will naturally be less interested in risk assets like Bitcoin. And this is the current reality. Bitcoin is unattractive right now. And with a chart like this, it's very hard to justify Bitcoin. However, we still don't have a recession. And for example, if the Federal Reserve starts cutting rates sooner than expected, then this 60,000 level for sure will be enough to support Bitcoin for the next bull market rally. But at this point of time, we just don't know how severe a global market correction will be. And this is precisely the reason why we are talking about the bottom zone. But you may ask, why should we not just buy now? Right now, Bitcoin sits exactly between major resistance and the major support. This is not a trading zone, and especially not a buying zone. The trade was higher at 80K, where we, if you saw my previous videos, opened a short position, which I'm still in it. Bitcoin broke down from this rising wedge and is again inside this bigger rising channel. There's also the possibility of a head and shoulders pattern forming, which will increase the downside pressure. And by the way, if you are sidelined and you're not in a short position and you're looking to enter, the next best level would probably be 75K at this resistance line. But right now, really, we are in a no man's land and likely approach a lower support line at 72K. Of course, if there are positive developments in inflation or the geopolitical situation, we could blast past that and retest 80K again. And if Bitcoin can break and hold above 83 to 85,000, then the short-term bearish outlook would be invalidated and we would have to reassess the whole market. But just looking at the chart, we had a major sell-off followed by a consolidation phase, exactly as we had in the previous bear flag. And honestly, all this just screams not buy to me. Instead, if the market pushes higher and settles into this area, I will continue staying in my short or even increase it further. Short positions are still interesting. However, jumping in shorts at the current level is somewhat risky. We do have a lot of resistance coming up, so at this level, I wouldn't do it. But of course, no one can tell you that Bitcoin will actually go to 60K. As I said, positive news tomorrow and the geopolitical situation maybe ends for some reason, Bitcoin would just explode higher. But I simply think, based on history, that we at least have to test the 200-day moving average and form somewhat of a good bottom structure that is actually able to support the next bull rally. So for me, any move higher into resistance could potentially be used as a trading opportunity because the market is still dealing with significant resistance. But again, if Bitcoin actually explodes higher from here to the 85 to 87K zone, then I would say that the short-term bearish picture has been invalidated. So back to the original question, what is my plan for the bottom zone? But for my spot buying strategy, I consider putting only 20% into Bitcoin at 60K, simply because I think we will likely go lower and I want to have more allocation in the lower levels. I want to put 40% around 50K. Why 50K? 50K is a psychological number, is a round number, very easy to remember also for retail and potential investors. So I'm expecting some heavy reaction there. And from here, it's really just watching. If we see 40K, I will put additional 30% into it. And this will be my last allocation into Bitcoin. And the rest of the allocation I will put into altcoins I'm interested in. If you want to see which one, you can watch my previous video. There I'm calling all of them. So for now, if we see strength, I think shorting makes sense. And if you are looking for exchanges or just want to support this channel, I have some links for you down there somewhere. So yeah, that's it for today's update video. Thanks for watching and I see you in the next one.